Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and commanders, this is the situation report or the summary for the past day, 15th of September 2025 for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine. We're going to start off with the Sumy front as usual. Over the Sumy front, we have continued fighting. This time around it's getting weaker and weaker, the amount of fighting. So this is Sumy over in the north. So fighting is reported over at Stepney, Oleksievka, Vereshkine, and shelling is reported at Hrunivka. So as you can see, the fighting has reduced by quite a significant amount over at the Sumy front. Maybe the Ukrainians are running out of steam to try to push the Russians out from this sector. Hard to say. We do not know, but this is not a lot of fighting being reported, but we shall continue to monitor. The next front line, the Kharkiv front. So moving east, so Kharkiv city, and over in the Kharkiv front, we have fighting reported in Volchansk, as well as Volchansky Kotori. We haven't heard of Volchansky Kotori for a long time. There is shelling reported at Zamolivka, also known as Zotsneve, again. But that's about it in this sector. The Volchansky Kotori wasn't mentioned since the 12th of August, so it's been some time, so more than a month. But that's about it. Nothing particularly stands out for me. And we go on to the Voreshna front. So zooming in, so over in the Milove sector, the fighting is being reported over in Ambarne as well as Odrane. There is also mention of Krasny Pershi along the Oskil River. So the fighting seems to be concentrating in this sector. The Russians seems to be trying to push in this direction. Maybe there is a pincer happening, but yeah, it's not very intense. So far doesn't seem to be noted to be very intense. We go on to the Kupiansk front. This is Kupiansk. At the Kupiansk front, we have fighting reported at Kindrashivka, Kupiansk, Petropavlivka, Zogoryukivka, as well as Stepova Novoselivka. There is frontline changes noted around the Stepova Novoselivka region. So in this sector here, the Russian forces have advanced in the north around Zagoryukivka region, and as well as geolocation confirming the Russians have advanced in the Stepova Novoselivka region as well. So this is something to interesting that the Russians have advanced in this sector. We move on away from this sector, moving further south to the Borova front. So over at Borova front, there is fighting reported only at Zarizove. That's all. The front line very quiet. So pretty much the same as yesterday's situation. Over in the Oskil Liman front, there is a bit of fighting in the north at Kharkivka. So previously there wasn't any fighting in this sector. Fighting remains to be concentrated in this sector here. We're fighting at Kharkivka, Serene, Sandrikholove, Darilove, Stavki, and Koloziazi. So the main push towards Sviatohursk continues to be the case, as well as a possible push towards Oleksandrivka. So that's the sector in this area. There's reports in this area. Over at the Liman Siversk front. So this is Liman. At the Liman Siversk front, the Russian forces attack at Torske towards Yampil in the Serebryansky forestry, as they captured quite a bit of forest in the north of Dronivka as they push towards Dronivka. Shelling is now at Platonivka, Zakitne. Krychorivka, with the Ukrainians confirmed the Russians' full capture of Krychorivka. Fighting is at Serebryanka, Siversk. The southern part here, there is no fighting being reported. The main push seems to be largely over in this sector as the Russians pushing towards Yampil, Dronivka, and then also this flanking movement around Siversk in the north. So you can see it's largely this northern flanking operations, totally avoiding clashing into Siversk directly. So let's see how this continue to play out in this sector, which is getting very interesting. Moving into the Bakhmut front, at the Bakhmut front, fighting is reported at Horikovo-Vasilivka, Mykolaiivka, and also as Tuposhki. So that is the Bakhmut front. Nothing particularly stands out, in my opinion, in this sector. Moving further south, we have the Konstantinivka front. So Mykolaiivka and Tuposhki, as mentioned just now, there is fighting reported at Bilohora, Ivanopilia, Pleshievka, Katerinivka, Srebrenica, Torex, Alexandro Kalinove, Dovha Balka, probably just some shelling, might be an attack, hard to say, Rusinya and Potavka. So that is the situation in the Konstantinivka front. The main action right now is the probable consolidation of this sector, with the Russians trying to consolidate this area, and this push to consolidate this Torex salient and the push to Konstantinivka. So mainly that's the main push of the main actions in this sector here. Over in the Evil Rabbit front, so this is the breakout zone. The Russian Pokrov breakout zone is not breaking out anymore tentatively. So as mentioned, Dovha Balka, Rusinya, Potavka. There is shelling reported at Toske. Fighting at Sofievka, Volodymyrivka, Ukrainian counterattack at Pankivka, geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting shelled at this is place called Shakhove. So, and then there is fighting reported at Zoloty Kolozias, Vilny. These are Ukrainian report. Zoloty Kolozias is mentioned by the Russians as well. And there is fighting reported at Novoekonomichny, Shivny, Liman, Trudinsky, and shelling reported at Novo Alexandrivka. So the Russians seems to be clashing with the Ukrainians at this sector here, whilst the Russians are trying to push out, consolidate their positions over in the breakout zone. And then there's this push westward north of Minokhrad. So that is the current general strategic situation right now in this sector. If we push south to the rest of the Pokrov front, so this is the rest of the Pokrov front, we have fighting reported over in Minokhrad, Promin, Novopalivka, Pokrov, Vivrove, Shevchenko, Kotline, Udashne, Molodetsky, Novopihorodne. So so that is the overall picture of the Pokrov front in this sector here. I would say this push is a little bit, it's not very big, and then the rest of these areas here are all static lines, and there's probably some closing down of the open grounds in the southeast of Minokhrad. So I think the Russians are allowing the Ukrainians to hold control of the Twin City for now, as the Russian forces is just busy flanking it. So that's the main actions in the Pokrov front. The main one is the flanking operation, as mentioned, over around in the north of Minokhrad. This strategic plan by the Russians, this operation continues to be the case, although the Russians seems to be very busy trying to consolidate all the other locations. So they have seemed to slow down this push westward, maybe reacting to the Ukrainian reinforcement, so which makes operation a bit difficult. We'll go on to the Komar front. So Komar is here. This is Komar front. The fighting is reported at Horikove. There's some strengthening of front line south of it, not important. Fighting is reported at Filia, Yalta. The Russian forces captured some grounds at Novohatsky as they pushed into Novoivanivka from Novohatsky direction. Fighting is reported at Iskra or at Andreevka, Kletsove. Fighting is now moving towards Havrilivka. Shelling at Malo Mihailivka. Shifneve is mentioned, Shevchenko is mentioned, Komishavaha is mentioned. These are all pretty in the rear positions, I would say. Voronezh is mentioned. Fighting is moving into Veliko Mihailivka. The Russian forces attack Sosnivka. There is Russian claims of captures of more grounds, and fighting reported at Ternove, Berezove, and Novomykolaivka. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces off Kalinivsky was an airstrike on Ukrainian position, but definitely just means that the Ukrainians are defending in this sector here. So the general strategic picture looks like the Russians are making these big arrow movements in the north, and then they are continuing to do this push westward into Dnipropetrovsk region. So if you have not watched the reports, the headline reports about Ukraine war in the main channel, the commander for the Ukrainian side that's in charge of the Koma front has been sacked by Alexandro Siversk. So not sure if it's a demotion or where he will be deployed. That's unclear. But the core commander is sacked along with the one managing the front line at Kanyamsky. So that's the situation in this sector. So if we move to the Huaypole sector, so this is Huaypole. At the Huaypole sector of the Zaporizhia front, fighting is reported at Novoivanivka. Russian forces captured Okhiyevsky. There is still fighting being reported in this sector, with some major frontline changes in this sector as the Russians consolidated their position north of Okhiyevsky as well. Fighting is moving towards Vertovka. So that's all from the front line. The push mainly is the Russians pushing, in this eastern part of the front line at Huaypole. This is part of the operation in the Koma front, as they are all generally pushing westward tentatively by the Russians. And moving into the rest of the Zaporizhia front, we have fighting reported at Mala Tomashka, the Novodanilivka, Kanyamsky, and Stepnohursk. Generally, this is pretty much more or less the same situation. There's nothing new regarding this sector. Only the part that the commander from the Kanyamsky sector has been sacked. And there is shelling reported at Nikopol, not very important. And then there is the Kherson front. There is shelling reported over at Belozerka as well as Antonivka. Otherwise, that's all from the summary and the situation report. So happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And also, if you haven't watched the Ukraine headlines, the link is here. It's either my posting timing is no good, or the algo is horrible, or I'm just posting too many videos. The viewership per video is terrible. But I will still carry on for a while and see how this goes. If not, I will retire from YouTube. No, I'm just joking. I will still continue to do the Ukraine, but I will have to reconsider my plans because too low views means no income. So very bad. Anyway, whatever it is, let's see how this goes. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update.